Have you ever found, like myself, that training aids are just not comfortable and very, very awkward to use? Luckily for us, there's a company called Hackmotion, and they might have just solved that problem. So that's what we're going to find out today. We're going to find out today whether Hackmotion, a training aid, is actually the best solution needed for us golfers that are just looking to improve our swing. That's what we're going to find out today, so let's get into it. Okay, so the first question is, of course, Hackmotion, who's it for? Well, the amount of data, which I will go into, the amount of data available with this device is incredible. For any coach out there that watches this, maybe, this is definitely needs to be added to your list of things to use when you're doing some lessons. It's incredible. Now, the biggest question, of course, because I am not a golf coach in any shape or form, the biggest question is, can a handicapped golfer like myself get any benefits of using this on our own? Well, that's what we're going to find out today. Hackmotion, we're going to see what it's all about. I have to hold my hands up. I've been using it for a few times now just to get used to it so I can make this video a little bit more worthwhile rather than just making it up. So that's what we're going to dive into now. So the first thing, showing you how to set it up. It comes in a nice hard case, and all you get inside is a Hackmotion device. It then just links up to an app. So first thing to do, put it on your wrist. Now the great thing about this training aid is you don't even know when it's on. Nice little strap there, on the Velcro, on your wrist, job done. You then have another part which you can clip. It does come with a clip as well if you want to put it on your glove, but I like to use the band just because it feels comfortable enough. And amazingly, that's it. That's all there is to it. That easy, that simple. I have recorded a few swings previously, which I'll show you as well, and then we'll do some live data here in this video. So let's do setup. So first off, you're probably thinking, what does Hackmotion do, right? Well, Hackmotion, what it's doing is it is actually measuring data on your wrist angles, whether it be flexion or extension, you know, where you've got cupping or Dustin Johnson, right? Whether you're opening or closing the face. And essentially, this device is there to try and help with those strikes and your swing. It sounds easy enough, right? But let's just see how it works. But as I say, yeah, it's measuring, as well as other stuff as well, which I think might be for your golf coaches. For us handicap golfers, we're just going to concentrate on the flexion and extension. It also has the option of doing some putting, which I'll show you as well. Incredible, very interesting stats to see with your putting as well. I'll show you how that works. But that's essentially what we're looking at, is our wrist angles, extension and flexion, which is obviously at the top of the swing, through to impact, and just see what our swing's doing, which obviously then will help to understand what's going on with our flight path. Open the app up. This is your main page. So now it's going to ask you to turn your sensor on very easily. There's a button on there, it vibrates, nice bit of feedback for you as well. It then looks for it, connects the sensor, connected. Next is just the standard stuff, right-handed. Now we're going to calibrate it. Very simply, hand, like that, calibrate, in position. Now it's asking you to move it 45 degrees. Keep it straight, in position. We are now fully calibrated. Let's get into it. Okay, so I am going to show you some drills that I have already filmed for you, but what I am going to do with you now is do a diagnosis of my swing. What it will ask you to do is 10 swings, just your normal swing, hitting golf balls, and then it will give you a diagnosis after that, what you may need to look to improve in. So that's what we're going to do now. So first of all, you go start practicing, guided practice, and then what you'll see there, it says start practice there. So all you're going to do, hit at least 10 shots, and it will show you your key issues. Seems simple enough, so let's dive straight into that now. Here we go. So all we're going to do, 10 swings like I've mentioned. Before we go any further, just to let you know, there is a discount code down below in the description. Use that link and you'll get 5% off at checkout. Now I'm going to hold my hands up and say, if you use that, there is a little bit of commission that comes my way, but then I can put it back into the channel, whether it be upgrading gear or paying to go to bigger green fee courses. I'm going to hold my hands up, be honest with you. It will help the channel if you do use that link, because I'll get a bit of commission. I'm not going to pretend. So use that link, use it down below. Okay, so I've done my 10 swings now, and we're just going to look at the quick diagnostic. So as to be expected, I knew this already, I'm a bit of a flipper. 85% of my swings is flipping. So what it's going to do now is essentially, it's going to give me a rundown what that will affect in my swing, and then hopefully give me a program to sort that fix, right? It's like having a coach in your pocket. So let's have a quick look. So it says, you've got the necessary amount of flexion in your downswing, but it's lost all before impact. So before impact, I've let go of all that release, which means I'm flipping a lot. Now, the effect of that means that depending on the severity of your flip, common misses for this pattern are pulls or hooks. Now that doesn't often happen, so my flip might not be too bad, but I do know that I am flipping the club. Sometimes you'll hit straight shots, which I do often do, but you'll struggle with distance, which is my biggest thing. So flipping is obviously the biggest issue that I've got here. Right, how to fix flipping. The fix is usually body related, rarely fixed by simply trying to hold on to the flexion. So instead of me trying to hold that shaft lean, that's not going to fix the problem. It's more body related. Interesting. So you can go to the top where it says issues, and it says putting weight on the trail leg in the downswing. It's probably one of those things. Poor body rotation and hips spinning too early. So what's that? Without sufficient body rotation during downswing, the only option for the club to reach the ball is by scooping the ball. So basically what that's saying is I'm putting too much weight on the trail leg in the downswing. Interesting, so I'm not getting forward enough. It's all interesting stuff. So there you go, that's the diagnosis of what is wrong with my swing, or what I can do to at least tackle the issues. Now if I come out of this, it then gives me training program, which is interesting, and it will take me straight to fixing my impact position, because it clearly thinks my top of my swing is fine, there's nothing to change on that. It's just the impact positions, which we will work on. Interested to know, right? That's just the first part. That's what you need to be doing, get your diagnosis. I'm now going to show you some clips that I've already filmed showing the first lot of drills, which is to the top of the swing. That should help explain how the program isn't giving me anything to think about at the top, because there might not be any issues with that. Let's dive straight into the drills to do with the top of the swing. Take your normal grip, lined up, and you'll see there it starts to load. Set up, right, now go to the top and stop. And as you can see, very happy with that, straight into position. The great thing as well, what you'll get is you get a nice bit of feedback, you get vibration feedback. So when you're in position, it gives you that feedback of where you're at. I'm gonna show you one that's not right, I'm gonna show you it cupped. So a bit of extension, right? So cupped, so you can see, look, I'm well out, too extended, yeah? If I start moving my wrist, you can see I get into range. But it wants you to hold that position, which I'm amazed about, right? I didn't realise I was in a good position. You can go too flexed, and you're over here, which is more of a Dustin Johnson kind of swing. So, show you again. Take your normal position, go to the top, and stop. Look at that, I am amazed. As I said, I am amazed. That is not where my fault lies. So there you go, interesting stuff, innit? So that's just the drill for the top of your swing. Get your wrist angles in position. It's great because you can do that anywhere. You can do that in the house. All you need is a bit of space where you can just rehearse getting into position for the top of the swing. It's good for muscle memory. You can do it anywhere. This is the biggest question. Can a handicap golfer use this? I think we're starting to see that yes, there's a lot of benefits for us as handicap golfers using this. We can maybe take the data with us to our coaches, but then essentially gives us something to learn and work on at home. Incredible feedback. So the next thing I'm going to show you is drills on the impact. Like we've just seen, that seems to be my issues, right? Is I seem to flip the club. I release my wrists too quickly at impact. So that might be something that I need to visit and think about doing. So let's dive straight into that now, do some impact positions and just see if we can try and change that. Let's do it together, let's do it now. So we're going to go static release. So this is all to do with impact, because as I said, we've already established after the diagnosis that my issue is, instead of coming down and hitting the club like that, I'm flipping the club, which means I am then de-lofting my 7 iron, making it more like an 8 iron, essentially. So we're going to go into, for level 1, static release. So all it's going to do is get into your position, like we did with the like we did with the top of the swing, get into position, set up in position, wait for it to go. Happy with that. It's going to ask you to get to P6 position, so we're going to go to here, lower the arms to there. So I'm too flexed, so I need to be there. Interesting, okay. But from here, I need to hit the ball. I need to rotate the body like that. Look at that. That was a nice shot. So I need to do the same thing again. So again, same thing. Address the ball. Wait for it to go. P6, in position, hit the ball. A bit of a shank there, but so into position. Good range, and now got to rotate with the ball. So I was too extended, so I flipped it. You can see how this can be really useful. You might not be able to get to a swing coach, but you can do this at home, and it's going to give you the instant feedback so you know exactly what you're practicing and if you're doing it correctly. Same again. So that felt nice. Extended, interesting. So based on what it said, remember what it said? It said I need to get off my trail leg. So I'm obviously guilty of falling onto my trail leg. So I need to try, in this one, I'm going to try and see if I can push onto the left leg and see if that makes a difference. So let's try and push over. Maybe a bit flippy again. So you can see there, it is every time it's giving me that feedback straight away. There's a lot of work for me to do, isn't there? And then you can obviously go into different options, dynamic release, and go through your different levels. So it's really, really interesting and helps with that angles, which I definitely need to work on clearly, evidently. But that's the great thing about it. I can do it in my own time when I've got a bit of time. You can see it's a bit of a busy life. So I'm in the back garden, I've got a bit of time, I can work on my swing and get instant feedback as to what I'm doing or not doing correctly. Now, before we move on to putting, which I did promise you I was going to show you, I just want to show you one little option you can do in this app, which I think is incredible and it's great fun. So what it is, it's where you can compare your swing to a pro golfer's swing, right? I'll demonstrate. So if we go to start practice, and if we actually go back to home, so we're going to go start practicing, we're going to go free practice, and this is where you can compare your swing angles and all that to a pro. So let's start. So we're going to go PGA, choose a swing. I'm going to do shots longer than 100 yards, and then this is when you can look. So if you wanted to do knuckles down release, then you can do that. If you want a DJ flexion, if you want to work on that, you can do this. Let's just scroll down and let's do a PGA Tour player, stable extension, PGA Tour 7-iron. So we're going to click on that. That's now showing you what their wrist angles are doing, and it will compare ours to it when we do it. I'll explain now. It makes it easier showing you. Here we go. Now we're going to start the practice. It's going to show me my wrist angles. I'll explain in a second. You'll understand more. Interesting. Right. So that's just done one straight away. I'm going to do one more. Good strike. So this now shows my wrist angles. There you go. That's my wrist in action as we speak. Scroll down and you'll see there's a dotted line and then there's a solid line. The solid line is my data from my swing. The dotted line is the benchmark that we've chosen, which is, in this instance, a 7-iron from a PGA Tour player. Now you can see the setup is slightly different in wrist angles. Now what you'll notice is that on the backswing, as we go all the way to the backswing, the PGA Pro, he's getting a lot of flexion. He's now doing that. I, on the other hand, have gone slightly to extension, which is giving it maybe a slight cup. To the top of the swing, you can see not far off. At the top of my swing, I seem to work it out, which is probably why it's not telling me the diagnosis I've got a problem. Work it out, then as you come through to impact, you can see where the issue is, where I am releasing it early, getting that flipping, whereas they hold on to that, which gives them that nice penetrating, consistent flight. Such an incredible piece of kit that you can compare yourself to a pro and other benchmarks. It's fantastic. What I might do is I might do a follow-up after I've done a few months of training with this. If you do want to see that, make sure you hit subscribe and then you can follow along with me. But hopefully I can give you some progress report in a few months' time down the line once I've worked on those impact positions. I am now going to go into the putting. I did promise you I was going to do the putting, so we're going to go in and show you that putting. Let's get into that now. We're going to do putting. This exercise is literally make a putting stroke, which I'm going to do now. Make a putting stroke, but you cannot be 2 degrees of flexion or extension in your wrists. Let's see how we get on. So continue, start practice. Same putt, take a putt, take a stroke, and try and keep straight wrists. Look at that, in range. So I'll show you what could be a bad putt, just so you can kind of get an idea of what would be going wrong. Now, I worked out the other day that if you, because that was literally me being on pivot, right? If you then to move your wrists like that, that's not what it wants you to do. I'll show you what I mean. So this is a bad putt. Look at that. So you'll see that I've gone there, too flexed. So if you're one of these people that moves too much of your wrists, too wristy in your putting, this again is going to help fix that. Really, really interesting information. Putting aid as well as your irons and your driver. So there you go. How cool is that? Right, so I'm just going to show you. That was the bad one. There you go. So I've got too flexed. So I've basically moved my wrists too far out, as you saw. That's essentially what I'm doing, is I'm going to there. Doing that, you can see that in the wrists. When I was putting, the bad way was you're moving too much wristy rather than keeping your whole body in a pivot. Exciting piece of tech, I hope you agree. So there you have it. That is all the information that I can give you at this moment without going too far into it. Maybe it's something that you might need to investigate yourself, but I am so excited about this training gear. I've said it loads of times already in this video. It gives you so much information that I can go away and look at, and I can come back tomorrow when I've got maybe half an hour to an hour just to practice again, just by using Hackmotion. It's so incredible. I'm so excited about this piece of kit. Thank you very much to Hackmotion for sending it out. Hopefully, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, if you are interested, you use that discount code below. It helps both of us out. Both parties can benefit from that. If you want to follow along, make sure you do stick around, because I will do at some point a follow-up video on how I'm getting on with my impact positions. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Big love to all of you. Unless it's golf, keep looking up.